This is the Three Skeevers podcast.
All right, episode 29 of the Three Skeevers podcast with Grim from Grimsforge Gaming and myself, Icy, with Icyfire Gaming. How you doing, Grim?
Good. How are you, Icy?
Pretty good. Just released my video in quite a long while for my stamina DK melee support. So just gonna give myself a shameless plug there. Feel free to check it out on my channel, and we'll make sure to put a link in the description below for that. What'd you think, Grim, about that? About
I
my
really
video?
liked it. I really liked it a lot. It was one of your best editing videos to date. So, and I know you're fairly new at like this, but I really like the thumbnail and I like the way you just put that together. And you're really good on that build. I think a lot of people don't understand what, like, you could actually be a support, like really focus on crowd control effects and debuffing, and that video summed everything up if you want to play that type of play style. And then it showed it in action too, how you were playing it. And I think that proof of life is very important for some people to kind of wrap their heads around it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was talking to Zero Moss earlier this morning about it, and he said that the explaining the like how to do the rotation and stuff in terms of how to utilize the core functionality of the stuns, snares, and immobilizations and stuff, how I kind of went through it, and also like what's your defensive rotation going to be, that type of thing. He said that was pretty interesting. So, and one more plug, just a reminder for everybody else listening, because I know I usually do it at the end of the podcast, but I figured I'd do it in the beginning. We do have an audio format on Anchor. So if you just want to listen to it on any of the other podcasting platforms, you can just check that out below. We always have a link there if you just want the audio version for it. And with that said, let's get this show rolling. So our special guest today is Upper Echelon Mediocrity. How you doing, brother?
Thank you guys for having me. I'm doing fine. Very, very fine.
Sweet. Yeah, we had a nice little 20-30 minute conversation before the show started, so let's keep that going. Grim, what do we got today?
Are you okay if I call you Joby?
Yeah, absolutely. That's my real name. So I always introduce myself on the channel as Joby. So some people call me that.
Awesome.
My wife mainly.
Let's see. So the first thing is, this was quite a while ago, so thanks for waiting to come on the show with us. It's been a while, but that episode where we spoke with Deltia, and I knew that we wanted to do a project. Deltia and I had spoke, and he didn't think that he was really impactful with his time spent in ESO. And while he felt that, a lot of content creators that I talked to were telling me the immense impact that Deltia had on them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Deltia, when I came into the game, I had this idea like, oh, I don't want to copy anybody else's build. I'm just going to figure it out myself. Probably really just like being lazy, didn't want to work. And I found his page, and he had rotations and he had the gear you needed. It was just all laid out. And there might have been other pages that had that, but I don't know. There was something about Delty that just resonated with me, and I took his pet sork build and I ran with it, and I kept that same build for like 3,000 hours. I only just recently changed it, actually, like I said in the video. So he definitely had an impact on me.
Yeah, when he heard that, it was impactful to him, because me telling him, hey, I talked to a handful of different content creators and you impacted their life, as well as other players, but content creators were saying this. And he's like, no. And I'm like, so me saying it is one thing, but him hearing it from the content creators is another. So thank you for going out of your way to put that audio together for that video. And it was, for the most part, fairly short notice. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for contacting me. I'm honored. I was so happy to do it because I'd never had any way to talk. You can say something in the comments or whatever, but as a content creator myself, I know that YouTube is really weird, and you only get notified for the first, the most recent. And I have like almost 600 videos. So there's no way I'm getting all the notifications for comments. So, when you reached out to me, I was just super excited that I'd be able to say something to him and to let him know that, he did make a big difference, because this game is really a big part of my life. And I know that sounds like a colossal nerd, which I am, and I'll own it. But it really is. It's a huge part of my life. So I'm really thankful to Deltia and to you for getting me, for me being able to record a message to him.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. How long have you been playing ESO?
I came on to ESO on console Xbox One when Homestead was just about to drop. So 2017 April, and I looked on, if you put /played in any of the chats, you'll get how many hours have you played. And on my main character, that's that Magsork that I'm talking about, that was Deltia's build. I'm at 3,800 hours. And then I looked on Xbox, and I'm like at 7,000 hours for
Whew.
ESO total. So definitely proof of a wasted life.
No,
I just want to tell everybody, don't do
Oh
it.
Lord.
Don't
You're,
do it. I have
move
nothing
on.
to show for it.
What are you talking about? You've got what? At least 18 characters, max crafting, and
Hey, I only have 16 characters, okay? So
see, that's music to my ear. The music to my ear. You've got 2 extra slots to create new characters, and
yes, I do. I did buy another slot too, so I'm ready to go.
there you go.
I should probably respec all my characters though, because I've only done 3 so far. I'm just kind of
Well,
ignoring their messages in game. Don't you
you
love me
could,
anymore, bro?
yeah, you could probably wait until Blackwood drops and then go through and give them love. Otherwise, you'll jump on them right now and have to turn around and do it again in a month or so.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's definitely a pro tip right there. I don't think I'll be doing it really anytime soon. The guild and stuff and the channel, it keeps me really busy. So I just
Yeah.
sometimes have to turn off all my notifications.
So, how did you come up with the name for your channel, and what was the thought process, like the moment when you were like, you know what, I'm just going to create a YouTube channel, or explain that whole process?
It's that part, the YouTube channel part, is really funny. Like, I've been a performer, I mean, pretty much my whole life. My mom was a drama major, and I did a commercial for ice cream when I was 5, and then I did a pilot for a series. Didn't get picked up, but I did it. And just different little acting jobs, and then I was a male dancer, and then I moved to Taiwan, and I became a magician and ventriloquist, and went on TV. So I've always loved to perform, And the funny thing is that most performers are actually introverts, and I am an introvert. And then the way that I overcome it is by performing. And so I told my kids I wanted to be a YouTuber, because they're like rolling their eyes every time I said, I've got an idea for a YouTube channel. And I wanted to just be like, okay, let's do it. So we went out and filmed, my 4 kids and I went out and filmed uh, Made in Taiwan. And we did like 6 episodes, and we went out and got food, because Taiwan is an amazing place for food. It's like foodie heaven, and a lot of fusion and stuff. People don't really understand that the country here is democracy. It's voted, and although we live really close to China, it's super free. It's amazing. But so we did those episodes, and it just wasn't sustainable. Like the kids' time frame, and going out, and we'd be spending like $40 per time, and it was just too much. And so we nixed that idea, and then I just thought to myself, why don't I just do an ESO podcast? I mean, a YouTube channel. I'm already, you know, 3,000 hours or more into the game, and I know a lot about the game. I know a lot of different stuff. I could just make videos from that. So did the research, and on console, you PC overlords, um, we bow down to you. But you guys have a lot of advantages. You're already on PC. You can record. I mean, if I was on my Mac, it'd be super easy to do it. But I'm used to it now. I have a Elgato capture card, and I have to run it through the Xbox and the TV, and then back to my computer. And I just cut the video after I'm set up, and from there, go into iMovie and edit it, if you could call it edit. But the thing of with my channel, when I first started, of course, as everybody knows, you're like 1 view, 3 views, and I was looking around, how do you get more views on your channel? And I'd watched one of those creator corner videos, and what they said is you need to treat it like a startup, and you need to look at it as there's going to be rise and fall in views. It's going to come and go. Sometimes it's going to be good. Sometimes it's going to be bad. And you need to look at it like a business, like that's how business goes. And they even said in this creator corner, they said, why do people sometimes not watch? And they said, we don't know. And I was so impressed that they were the experts, and they were saying that they literally had no idea what makes people sometimes your views go way up, and then sometimes they drop down, and same thing with the ad revenue. So I just thought, I'm going to make a video every single day and just see, for as far as a discipline aspect, could I do it? And then it became like a challenge to me, like I'm going to do it, and we talked about this earlier, about working out and getting bored, and just, it's not the difficulty of it. It's getting over the boredom of it, to where you're just going, I don't want to do that. It's just like burnout in the game. You guys probably know, after the Jubilee Festival, you keep getting those boxes in the Jubilee Festival. And then when the Jubilee Festival's over, you're not stimulated anymore. And you see people all in the game everywhere, just dropping out, going and playing other games and stuff like that. So I think we got a little bit off topic there. Not me. Am I answering your question at
You
all?
you absolutely are. What about the name? How did you? I think you said there's a story behind the name.
There
And
is
so
a story behind
how
it.
much of it can we talk about?
Oh, we can we can talk about everything. I've like, my wife is really competitive. I've always hated, we were talking about it earlier, when you're with your friends, and especially men. I'm not sure if women do this when they're all alone, but guys, we tend to rank on each other, like, oh, you're terrible. Oh, remember that time you fell down in the hole and you couldn't get out? And we're all saying kind of terrible things to each other, but it's all in good spirit, because we love each other. We're just friends. But then if somebody comes into the group, there's a certain kind of person that will just I mean, in the game, probably, in real life too, they just come up to you and they start calling you names and saying you're terrible and stuff like that. And it I don't know, to me, I find it kind of offensive. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to shut that down, like we were saying, the guys that lead with I have 60,000 DPS, they walk up to you, and they're like, hey, I have 60,000 DPS. And you're kind of like, okay, I know what you're about. And so this kind of person, when I'd run into him in the game, I just started saying, oh, I don't. Oh, I'm terrible. And then if they said something about they beat me in a duel, I would say, oh, well, beating me is really no big deal, because I'm literally the worst gamer ever. And then I found it was very interesting when I would say that, I've always used self-deprecation. I've always liked it, because it just immediately puts people off guard. I mean, they're not like, come on, bro, and sticking their chests out and stuff like that. And I found when I would say I was literally the worst gamer ever, those same people would go, oh no, bro, you're not that bad. And it was really funny. I thought it was hilarious, and so I just started doing it all the time. And then the name just hit me, that how, remember the Jerry Seinfeld routine where he talks about being second is actually the worst thing ever? He goes, I mean, if you're third or if you're fourth, yeah, you didn't win, okay, we know. But if you're second, you're the first of all the losers. And he just has this whole routine where he talks about being second place is actually worse. And I was thinking, how could a name be something that was the best of the worst? And so I just thought upper echelon. When you first hear that, you think it's something is incredibly great. And then I put mediocrity, because mediocrity is it's a problem we all have, just being bland and vanilla. And I also found a lot of people, if you look on the internet, there's on the interwebs, there's a lot of there's a lot of people that talk about being average is a disease, you know, and I think a big problem these days is that a lot of parents they tell their kids that you can be anything you want, but they forget to say if you sacrifice.
Hmm.
And that's a serious issue, you know, with a lot of these people. They think that you know, oh man, come on, I can be anything I want. You know, there's a demotivational poster that's hilarious, and it says, shows a French fry box with some fries, and it says, "Because not everybody gets to be an astronaut when they grow up." And
Damn,
I
that's
I
so
love,
sad.
but it's true though. You know, when people are talking about, if you say, if I say I'm so average, and then they just say, "Oh, I'm not average. I'll never be average." Just ask them, say, "Are you on the leaderboards?" And then they'll say no, and you say, "Well, then you're average." Because elite has a reason to be elite, and a lot of these people, the way they talk, it kind of takes away from those people that are elite, because you know, the Michael Jordans, the LeBrons, the people that are on the leaderboard in ESO that are like going and doing the trifectas and stuff, those people, they weren't born like that. There's no, you know, equality of outcome. Oh, it's not fair, you were just born with a video controller in your hand and that's why you can do amazing DPS or amazing trials. They work hard, you know, and
Hmm.
they're not in the YouTube comments calling you names. I can promise you that. They're practicing and they're working on their rotation and stuff like that, you know. And so to me, average, it's there's a lot of room in the middle, you know, a lot. And that competitive side, like I told you guys earlier when we were talking, if I want to be in competition with somebody and have somebody being super sweaty with me, I'll just go play Uno with my wife because she's like massively competitive. And I even told her at one point, I said, "Listen, honey, whatever we do, whatever game we play, you win, okay? You already won, and we don't need to worry about that anymore." So,
Happy wife, happy life.
exactly. Happiness in life is about 90% of who you marry or who your partner is. And let me tell you, as a being married 27 years, just do what she says. You're going to anyway. So just skip over the arguing and just do it.
I like
So
that
that
that thought process of coming up with your name for your channel because it kind of says right at the beginning, like, hey, this is an ego-free, environment. Just come and be who you are, I
right.
like.
And we have inclusivity, you know. But inclusivity, you have to be careful because if you have too much of it, you just get really homogenous. Everything just kind of becomes the same. And, you know, like doing trials and stuff like that. Sometimes, you know, I used to like, I would lead a trial. I mean, I've done a few vet trials, the Craglorns, but most of the trials, you know, I've done them all on normal. And, you know, vet, that is magnitudes of order of hard between vet and normal. You know, normal is like just getting in there and learning the mechanics. And then when you're in vet, it is just, I mean, Cloud Rest, even normal +3, it is, people just don't understand how much different it is. So, you know, we'll try to carry people sometimes. And, you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out, group composition. So what I'll do is I know people don't like to be blamed for stuff, so I'll just right away say, "I'm sorry, guys, it's my bad. Group composition is wrong, and we're not going to be able to pass because we don't have enough TPS." And then we'll quit, you know. But I mean, we've got a lot of completions before, but man, I can tell you stories about taking like level 34s, like 3 level 34 DPS through Sanctum Ophidia, and it is brutal. But I sometimes I feel like, who am I to tell people that they're not good enough? You know what I mean? It's I feel kind of like a fraud, like, oh, I don't think you're going to be able to make it. And then, you know, if you set limits, you kind of ostracize people. So I don't know. Sometimes I make the sacrifice and just let them get a feel for it so they can know that, yeah, this is no joke. Maybe, you know, you should wait a little bit before you X up in chat.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't think there's any shame in telling people the truth like that because at the end of the day, I'll just take, for example, like some of like the vet trial content.
Right.
There's particular reasons why people ask for, hey, we need you to, we're looking for people who can do like 80k DPS on
Oh,
a
sure.
target dumpy,
Absolutely. For
because
sure.
it's just easier on everyone's life if we could potentially skip certain mechanics because everyone is top notch. Then we're gonna get through this a lot easier and quicker. But if half the group, because if we're running, I guess vet kinds ages or something, and we're all running like 30k DPS or something like that, I don't think we're gonna come close to it. And then even just thinking
For
about it,
sure.
from like a year ago, I was in a group, and no matter what, we could not finish it because the DPS just was not high enough. Because we'd always go to like the execute phase of the
Right.
boss, and then we just get all nuked and stuff, and then we had to
Can't
make
make
a,
it.
yeah, we can't make it, and that's just the
The
sad
DPS
reality
race,
is.
and then you're not, like Cloud Rest. If you don't, I mean, like I said, I've never done Cloud Rest on Vet. I've done +3, but no completion because
Mhm.
that was exactly the problem. I'm not talking about Vet. For sure, you have to have a a progression group, you know. And what I find is the problem with progression groups, and I tell people this, is that do what you say, and when you say you're going to show up, you need to be there, because you're wasting other people's time. And then they get on me about, oh, you're so sweaty and all this stuff. And so I don't know, I'm kind of burned out on trials. We were
Mm,
doing like 3 trials a day for a while, trying to teach people, and then it'd never be the same people, and just kind of feel like, I don't know.
yeah.
That oh, sorry. Oh, I'll say one more thing, Grim. See, what bugs me the most is when people say, "Oh, dude, you're so sweaty." It's like, bro, you're not gonna complete this content otherwise. Because if you do want to become casual at like doing like that kinds of ages, you need to already be good enough where you can casually parse 80k or 90k whatever and get through
Right.
it no problem. But you can't just come in Joe Schmo off the street and then be like, "Oh, no, you're too sweaty, but I need that skin or something." Like, what? Like, get out of here,
Oh,
bro.
yeah. I know those people that say, "I've never done a trial. I want skins." And I just
Mhm,
laugh. I just
yeah.
laugh.
Well,
We have some
translation, they want carried.
exactly. You can pay 4 million and you can get that. I'll give you the guy's cheat gamer tag. But
Yeah, yeah.
but the thing is, like, we have some players in our guild, in my guild, the Upper Echelon Mediocrity Guild on Xbox One, plug. And they're like, one of the guys has done Vet Cloud Rest +3. And then a couple of the, 3 or 4, 5 of them have all done all the vet content of the trials. I mean, myself, I've done all the vet content of dungeons, most of them on hard mode. A couple of the DLCs I haven't done hard mode, but that's not a problem. But for vet trials, I've only done the Craglorn trials on vet. But these guys, what I think most people don't really realize about trials is that when there's a group and they do the trifecta, like they had said that was impossible uh, on Xbox or on console because of the wardrobe add-on that you overlords have. And then they were using the wardrobe to change to speed gear, and then they're running through, and then they change it back. And then the guys did it on console, which every time there's somebody does something, once it's broken through the barrier, then I don't know if it's memetics or what, but it will happen again. That's just proven. And so what these guys were telling me is that they'll have a progression group, and on Facebook or Twitter or something, they call out for people to come, and then they take parses, and whoever gets into the group, they'll form a guild. And then this guild's goal is to get the Griffin Heart, to do the veteran Cloud Rest +3, or maybe it's Sunspire. And then they just work step by step through each phase, and they keep doing that one phase and keep doing that one phase. And then when they can pass that, they do the second phase, and then they do the two together over and over again. And then when they're finished and they achieve their goal, they disband the guild, and they never talk to each other again. Because the one guy in our guild, I'm not going to say his name, but he had said that basically because it's like a bunch of alphas and they all hate each other. And girls, I'm talking alpha girls too. It's not just a man thing. So I don't know how you guys do it on PC, but this is pretty. I can understand from calling a few trials, and trying to get groups together, and how long does it take to get people to X up, and trying to get healers and tanks, and it's a lot more work than people realize if they've never done it before.
Yeah. You have the knowledge, and like you're saying, you could pass that knowledge on to people, but something I found outside of ESO as a coach, that knowledge isn't available to everyone. And most people, there's a handful of people that won't even seek that out, even though it's what they need. And so for you, you said, I don't know that I want to, make like offer that help or whatever. Here's what I found. I just say, hey, look, I have the answers to a lot of the problems that you guys are seeing. I'll make myself available. If they reach out to me and they want to get better, we can go through the process of getting them better. And if they don't reach out to me, then they're going to wallow, they're just going to hang out where they're at. And they're going to continue to try and get carried. And they're going to have subpar, performance. And it's just the way it is. But
well, speaking,
can't save everyone.
You have an excellent point. And first of all, I hate people telling me what to do. That's why I get fired from a lot of jobs, is because as soon as I feel like my boss is trying to tell me what to do, I'm like, you know what? You're not even my boss. I'm your boss, and you're fired. My wife doesn't like it, but I'm a free person. And so in the game, if people don't ask for help, I don't really go to them and say, hey, you need to do this. And another thing is that when they ask, and I've noticed that this happens, a lot of times what people are asking for is for you to give them the stuff. And I've taken people out, like they said, hey, I can't complete these writs for the Witches Festival, and I don't have any bast or alchemical resin. And I said, I won't give it to you, but I'll take you to Bleak Rock Isle and show you how to farm it.
Right.
And so I took him around there, and we were farming it. And I said, I'll give you all mine materials that I get, and then you keep yours. And his answer was, I'm down with that. And I don't know, my old man, grandpa's sensibilities was just like, you can say thank you. It's really not that painful, but that's another issue I have. But anyway, and I, speaking to the issue of teaching people or passing on knowledge, the real problem is that people don't want to face what is the truth about getting better. Number one is sets don't carry. And stop thinking, once I get that Hollow Fang, once I get that Titanborn, I am going to be a god. And they farm it and they farm it and they farm it. Then they get the sets, and then they go into PvP and they just still get smashed.
Yeah.
Because these people in there have been doing PvP since the game came out, and they are good. They're skillful. And
I so like that you're talking about this, because I actually have a video. I showed Icy this diagram. It's a diagram that we use in the gym industry, and it kind of depicts the maturation process.
Is it Dunning-Kruger? Because that is so applicable.
It's supposed to show you what to expect when you undertake this journey in combat sports, but it just so happens that it carries over to starting your PvP career in ESO. And so I'm actually going to be doing a video, and I just presented the whole thing, the analogy to Icy just 2 days ago, I think. But you were talking about it earlier, sacrifice. Success is reserved for those willing to pay its cost. And a lot of people don't understand that, or are willing to pay that cost,
Exactly.
And they're looking for it. And so it's made up of 3 stages: discovery and inspiration, stage 1. Stage 2 is analysis paralysis, and then stage 3 is sacrifice and commitment. And so I can't wait to hear your feedback on that video when it comes out. It'll be probably Wednesday of this week. It'll be part of my Own Your Battleground series.
Oh, I'll definitely watch it.
For some people, it might be fairly boring, and I think it'll speak to you too, because you've lived this, being a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. You will have seen the correlation between coming in and thinking the average. There's a saying: the average male is 4,000% less effective in a physical altercation than they think they are. They will
Oh,
be.
that's so true.
It's so true. And working your way through to blue belt status, where you were the day you walked in is nowhere near where you were at blue belt. And you know this, and it's so funny because you walk in and you think you know, and you think you'll do this, and you think you'll do that, and you're learning how that's all wrong, and
Right.
you're going through this maturation process, and then eventually you get to that blue belt, and you're looking back, and you could see those people very clearly thinking they know and thinking and you're like, man, and you know how long of a journey they have just to get to that blue belt. And so it's such an interesting thing. PvP and ESO has that same journey, the same
Sure,
maturation.
it does. It's exactly the same. And except that people, there's a guy named Scott Sonnen. He's a coach. He's been doing mobility training. He's the one that reinvented the club bell. And I have his clubs and I have kettlebells and all his mobility stuff. Mostly the mobility, it's called Into Flow and it's amazing. But he has a saying that I think is so applicable to this. It's self-delusion is the new self-confidence. And you
So true.
know, you see these people, talking about how great they are and stuff, and you're just going, you're not showing me anything, I'm not seeing it. And PvP, if it what people I think another thing people don't understand, like I love PvP. I always play, I'm terrible, I always get killed, but I still go back in there and you know, I I also have a really high latency, really high ping, about 1200, sometimes higher.
Ooh.
So, yeah. So I can do well in overland, like in Cyrodiil when I'm with a group, you know, can do well, but man, dueling and like just one on one. It's really strange how it depends on how much like graphic is going on when there's a huge fight and then there's I'll start getting this latency and then I get health desynced, but health desync is a different issue. That's we can thank Lethal Arrow for that. So that's just a totally different thing. But you know I mean, everybody dies in PvP, and I've been taking there's an entire base of the game that is terrified to go into PvP. And
Mhm.
they literally think that there are people in there just waiting for them. And that when they go in, they're if they go to do their boxes to get their tickets, when they go in there, there's hordes of people hiding in the house just waiting for them. And I try to tell them, I say, if they do kill you, you just go and spawn back and then come back to the house again, they'll probably be gone because it's boring just to wait for people to come. And also it's not very challenging just to smoke people. Me personally, I'd rather have a big old 45-minute battle at a keep where it's back and forth and we get in and then they lock us out and then my whole group wipes. I like that better than just rolling over people in a Zerg. I've done it before and many times been in a Zerg and just smoking people, but I don't know. It's not as exciting as like in a flag game in BGs where you're up and then you're back down to the bottom, and then in the very end it's like, yes, we win, or oh, we're second. Good game. I'll send them a mail and tell them, you guys are great, man. That was awesome. To me, that's a lot more exciting. So I don't know. I guess I'm just a sportsman.
Yeah. Yeah, I just I liked when you were talking about that sacrifice moment, and a lot of people don't take that into account. They think that everything's just going to come to them. So,
Well, even just with rotation, like I always tell everybody if they ask me, they're like, "What can I do?" And what they're thinking is that I'm going to craft them some secret golden armor, and they're going to put it on, and then they're just going to be amazing. And I always tell them, "Come in and hit the dummy. That's what the dummy's really for, is
yeah.
to practice your rotation. And don't hit the trial dummy. Hit the 3 mil. That'll give you a really good." Um, I mean, it's still just a number. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're not always going to hit that number in the wild, even if you do well. And I try to tell them that is when you're going through your rotation, you get into motor set and you cannot press the buttons, and you start doing the rotation from your back bar on your front bar, and you need to get over that. You need to push through, and the only way to do it is thousands and thousands of rotations. And when you tell people that, the number, it just doesn't even, it's all, you see they're like, they're talking and then they just get really quiet. And then after I'm through, they go, so anyway, what are the sets that are good? It's almost like you just didn't even
Yeah. Yep.
register. They don't want
Yep.
to hear it. They don't want to hear it, practice and stuff like that. So I
Icy and I
understand.
had that conversation, that very thing. What do you think? Throw a number out. What's the average DPS that you see? A number for trials or
Of
whatever.
of you mean what is that I see of a beginner person or somebody who's really good or what?
Yeah, yeah. Just your
Oh,
average
me?
for anyone. Like, would you say it's 30K DPS is kind of the norm that you see a lot
No,
of people? 40,
no,
50,
not
less?
even. No, no, no. Like
Okay.
25, 27, I
20.
would say.
Okay. We'll say 25. And
But
what's
there's
the
elite
highest?
people though. Oh, the
Yeah.
highest?
Yeah. Now what's
Um,
the highest?
well, there's a guy in my guild. I'm pretty sure he's doing 80. When we go into dungeons and trials, it's just like it's amazing. And there's
That's a
another guy, but this is like 5 guys out of 400 people.
Exactly. That's a big disparity, right? That's a big
Sure,
gap. 25,000 DPS to 80,000. That's a big gap on the PvE side of things, okay?
it's
And
huge.
that's huge. That disparity or that gap exists in the PvP side of things as well, and people don't realize this. The gap, the skill set gap, okay? And there are people that are doing PvP or they're in a PvP environment, but but they don't know how to stretch out, how to fight outnumbered, how to maintain their buffs, or how to do, and that gap exists. And so that's what happens is the 25,000 DPS person equivalent on the PvP side runs into the 80,000 DPS person, and they can't even, how's this even possible? This guy has to be cheating. And it's because they don't even realize that there's levels to this.
Oh, right.
There's absolute levels to this. And another thing that I see, I think this is all ties in, the 80,000 DPS person on the PvE side of things will work tooth and nail to get to 80,000 DPS. And the
Tooth
second,
and nail,
yes.
obsessed.
And the
Every
second they go into PvP environment, they're still only PvP is different. It's a
Well,
different
this
animal.
one guy I'm talking about though, he just changes characters, and then he's got his PvP because he is
Mhm.
he is obsessed. He gained this one friend. He's in my guild. He gained 900 champion points during the Jubilee Festival.
Holy cow.
He was running and mythic ethereal ambrosias. Had the gold and just bought them, and he had all the rationer on there. I saw that from Hack the Minotaur, and I made a video about it, but they nerfed it. But during the festival, was that running on the festival? I can't remember, but he was in Black Rose Prison, and he discovered that for himself. He said, "Don't do 4 levels, just do 2, and then leave instance, and then come back in." And I mean, he was in there for hours,
Yeah.
and but now he's not even playing.
Yeah, burn
You know,
himself out.
Yeah. So, and the problem that people don't realize about burnout is you don't know it until you're already there. When you
Yeah.
go play another game and you go, "Oh, Outriders looks cool." Grim, I
Yeah.
see in there.
Yeah.
Grim.
Hey,
And no,
I'm
I know.
there because
I'm
performance has me pretty frustrated. So I don't know how.
yeah,
And we're at a weird spot right now, putting
for
builds together
sure.
and stuff like that with Blackwood
I'm
coming
just
out.
I'm just playing, man. I'm in Outer Worlds and I'm doing all kinds of stuff. I've really had to manage my time now because I'm only on for 3 hours and then I come on in the afternoon just to do I'm offline to do housekeeping just for myself. I have to do my writs and like I'm a grandmaster crafter and I have to do trying to get all the tables. We just had a new guild house and I had this guy doing his designing it and stuff, and I have to meet him in there and be in there for an hour and then put the stuff down. Just all the kind of crazy, absolutely not fun or glamorous things that go on with being a guildmaster. And um, so I have to be really careful. And then if I get burned out and then I don't want to do the channel, what happens? It's not that I don't want to do the channel. I don't have any ideas for content. It just
Yeah,
dries up.
it's a
I
weird
have to
time
be,
frame right now.
yeah, I have to be inspired, and I'll tell you though, if anybody's going to, if they want advice about being a content creator, I mean, like always say, I'm just a moron with a good work ethic. I'm nobody. That's one of the things my jujitsu teacher said that just really got to me because going back to that, when you come into jujitsu and I'm 6 foot, about 190 pounds, worked out for forever. Well, I was heavier then. I was kind of fat. I was about 205. And, work out every day, bench and squats and everything, deadlifts, and I'm thinking, oh, I can twist these guys' heads off. And they are just smashing me, man. I mean, humiliating. Like my face is getting gi rash coming home, and my wife is just going, "What happened?" And I'm like, I basically got murdered. And
Yeah.
they're white belts too. I mean, these guys are white belts too, and they're just like totally just running over me. And learning from that. But my teacher, he's a little guy, and he's really good, really technique. Just doesn't use any strength at all. He's like can sweep you and everything. It's great. But he told me we were out one time, and these other guys walked up, and I don't know if they weren't Taiwanese, but I don't know. They were speaking English to him, and they just go, "Oh, who are you?" And he just looked at them and he said, "I'm nobody." And then they just walked off. And I was so impressed with that, instead of getting in his ego. And of course he could have fought him and stuff. And he goes, anytime you get in a fight, you lose. Because it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter even if it's a professional fight. They both lose. There's one person who's declared the winner, but he goes, look at that guy's face, and just pointing out, somebody, even he's the winner, and he's all like his face all messed up and stuff like that. But that's a different subject. But that's something that impressed me. And, that's what I always try to say is I'm nobody. Because look at these guys, the Hack the Minotaur and Nephis and, Outcast. And they've been on YouTube 10 years and they just like, everything is just on point. It's amazing. So, as far as me giving advice about how to be a YouTuber, I think I'm kind of a fraud. But I can say that if people want to start a channel and they want content, whenever you get an idea, write it down. Like I have my notepad on my phone, and if I'm driving, I'll get it out and I'll say, oh, uh, alchemical resin, how to find it, or just some idea, and then I have a storage of all these ideas written down, so that when those dry spots come and I don't have content, I can look at that list and get inspired. Besides reading all the ESO news and besides reading any of the patch notes and all the different kind of stuff like that. And for me, that's helped. I'm already past the boredom part, like just the ennui where you're like, oh God, this is terrible. And I knew that would come. I was prepared for it because from lifting weights and stuff, sometimes you just don't want to work out and you have to make yourself go. And after a while, you can pass through that phase.
Yeah. It's about the discipline of it at that point.
Exactly. We can't always be motivated, but we can always be disciplined.
Do you handle every aspect then? It sounds like you do of your content creation. It sounds like you make a list and then from
Yes.
editing to thumbnails and everything is all you.
Yeah, I have trust issues. I'm always like, well, if I can do it myself, then I don't ever have to wait on anybody and I don't ever have to ask anybody and I don't ever have to do anything. So, I use GIMP for the thumbnails. It's an open source software. And, in my guild, I also have a professional graphic design guy, and I told him I use GIMP. I try to network though. Like if I see somebody that's a professional, like you're the gym guy with the networking business, and if I ever had a question about that kind of stuff, you are the man I would come. I wouldn't be shy. I'd ask you. And this graphic guy, he had told me that GIMP is great. It's as good as Adobe. It's as powerful, but it's just not as user friendly. So I just learned everything about how to do the YouTube channel from YouTube videos, basically. Just, went in there and how do you make a thumbnail? Because, do you ever look at those creator corners for your channel? The YouTube creator corners where we have a secret website and we go in there if you're a creator.
I haven't actually. So I like off the air picking other content creators' brains. Like Dan from Unified Gaming was extremely helpful with search engine optimization and
Oh,
two.
wow. I need to talk to him.
Yes, Dan's a wealth of knowledge, and every other content creator, Deltia as well, they all have a very unique story and lessons that they've learned. So when you were saying these guys are so experienced and so whatever, I have a feeling that you've lived just as full of a life as them, if not more, as far as experiences go outside. And so there's something to be had. If I ask you about YouTube, I guarantee if we talked for an hour, I would come away with new things that I did not know. And so
Anytime, brother. Anytime you want to ask me, anybody actually that's listening to this podcast, if you want to start a YouTube channel and you think that I could teach you something or help you, I'm more than willing to do it. You can contact me in the Discord, or you can hit me up on the YouTube comments. I like to help people. I feel like not just in the game, but in my life, that I have a debt that can never be repaid because I'm a very fortunate person. I have a beautiful wife that's my best friend, been married for 27 years. I have 4 healthy, fantastic children that are amazing, and have a house. It's a mortgage, but hey, what are you going to do? And I live in a country that's free. We're not on lockdown. It's beautiful. Don't need to wear a mask. And I'm I'm very fortunate, and I didn't get here by myself. It's not like I just, you know, I'm so smart. It's other people helping me, and the game is such a beautiful metaphor for life in that sense because all people ever told me, you always hear, "Oh, that game's so toxic," and I just don't see it. The toxic people are just really loud because 95 or even higher percent of the game people are nice. They're willing to help you. And I've always run into people and all they've ever said is pay it forward. So to me the game and life is a life of service, just trying to help people. Now I don't mean I'm going to craft you a golden outset of Hunding's Rage and just give it to you. You're going to give me the materials. but but if it's knowledge, or if you think I can show you something or tell you how to do something, I'll be glad to do it.
it's the exact same in life as it is in ESO. And if you have the outlook that this game is so toxic, it's who you're surrounding yourself with. And in life, if you're surrounding yourself with a bunch of people that make poor decisions or are toxic or violent or whatever, that's your decision. That's your choice. You're not a victim to your surroundings. And some people will say that's not true. But you could literally pack up your stuff and find a new life whenever. And you just have to do it. And you might not like that journey and you'll have to sacrifice, but it is possible. And in ESO, if occasionally these toxic people will make themselves known to you, they'll approach you, they'll reach out to you because they're toxic and they're idiots, but that's somebody that you could very quickly just hit ignore.
You can block them. What
You
I
can,
do is I block them on Xbox, and then I block them in the game, and then you never see them again.
yep,
I'll even go through the chat when there's people that are clearly just being really obnoxious trolls, and I'll just block them from the chat. And
yeah,
then you find that your game, after about 20 people, it gets really peaceful. It's like,
yeah.
wow, were those all the same people that I've been seeing everywhere? And you got to wonder, do they change their gamer tags and just come to troll?
Yeah, they all
Which is
fell from
possible.
the bad apple tree, so
Well, I do know a lot of them. The philosophy of troll is they're not really bad people. They're just trying to get a laugh. And we should, like my son told me when I was pretty upset about something somebody said. It was earlier when I maybe had 1,000 subscribers or something, and it used to bug me. What bugged me was what would motivate someone to say I hope you get cancer, or
Right.
I can't stand you. And it wasn't that they said it to me that I was like, oh, I'm so hurt. Broken people aren't fragile. And I'm about as broken as you could get. So, I've heard a lot of pretty heinous stuff, but it's the motivation. And I kept saying it like, why would they say that? And my 15-year-old son put his iPad down and looked at me like a 85-year-old man and said, Dad, don't engage. You don't know them. You'll never see them again, and they don't matter. They're just trying to get you angry. And he picked up his iPad again, and I was like, thanks, Dad.
Yeah. You're like, wow, high-fiving yourself because you're like,
Right.
I did a good job being a parent.
Exactly. It's so funny about how you can learn from anybody. But it is true, though, people say don't read the comments, but the thing is, that's one of the tips I would give to people is answer every single comment.
Yeah.
Because you'll build a community of people that will like you, and then they will start to come there. And if you talk to them and visit with them, they will be loyal, and they will start to put the trolls down. When somebody says something, oh man, how come you can't make your videos 4 minutes long? And like, well, first of all, you know nothing about YouTube's algorithm.
Bingo.
The video has to be at least 8 minutes, and then there's the other people that are like, oh, you're just trying to make money. Yeah, I am. What's wrong with that? We can all win. You don't pay and I get money, and maybe I can quit one of my jobs and I can do more videos and I can really be happy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you go ahead.
Well, it's just funny you bring up those people or whatever. Icy told me long ago, he said, hey, the whole don't engage, don't, you don't have to, some of these people are just trolls or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know what it is. And I just had this happen yesterday or today. Somebody left a message on there. I feel compelled when we were talking about this earlier off air about self-defense. We were talking about
Right.
jujitsu, the average male mind, things like that. In a real life scenario, I have a very clear what my boundaries are. Is somebody
Right.
raise their voice at me, somebody can call me names, and I'll take the same stance that your jujitsu coach would take. Like, I'm nobody. You're way tougher than me, man.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we know what's going to happen, and nothing good and it's not going to be good for either party.
Right.
But that said, you have to have very clear boundaries, and those boundaries for me are if I feel like they're going to try and get physical with me. If they were coming at me in an aggressive manner, then I'm going to shut that down, and it'll be the worst day of both of our lives. In YouTube and in ESO, for the most part, let's hope this always stays true, but there is no physical interaction with these people, and they just
No code duello at all.
that's
That's why they do it.
and they
No
think that they can just
consequences.
no consequences. They can say whatever they want to whoever they want, however they want. And as an example, this guy said on my YouTube channel, like he was trashing the build and trashing me or whatever. And then he went as far as trashing the other people that are commenting, saying that they're low IQ. And I'm like, I'm not going to let somebody like that come in here. I could have
Right.
just blocked him, but instead we're going to engage in verbal jujitsu, and I'm going to make him look stupid. If you want to come here looking for a fight, I'll win. And so I'm normally not that guy, but when people do that, I don't like bullies and I don't like toxic people. And
Right.
I feel compelled when they want to come and act stupid, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And so when they want to badmouth the build, that's fine. I'll tell them how they're wrong and explain it to them. If they want to badmouth me, I'll tell them they're wrong and explain it to them, and let's see where that goes. At the end of the day, here's how dumb they are. They're only helping your engagement. Every single
For
time
sure.
they
Dislikes.
that's
Yep.
right. Dislikes, thumbs downs, and
It's just
comments.
activity. It just registers as
Bingo.
activity.
Bingo. So if you
The
want to
only
engage in 30 different comments back and forth, I'll just make sure that I lay it all out. No, I'm just saying it's not a build issue, it's a you issue. You're not capable of You know?
The only problem with that is that the hit and run trolls, what they do is their profile is not public. So when you make a comment back to them, they probably don't even see it.
Right.
And
I'm
then
fine.
you've written all that stuff and
It's
you're
not for
mad.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not for them. It's for everyone else that's watching. You know, it's for people that scroll through and they're looking at the comments and they're like, this build's trash. And these people, when they come to your channel, they're like, man, I really need to find a build for a Stam Crow. I need to find a build for a Stam Crow, something that, you know, feels good. And then they watch the video and they're like, ooh, I like that. And then they look at the comments and one of the comments says this build's trash. And they're like, wait, what's wrong with this build? Why is this build trash? They haven't put it together yet. They're second guessing the whole process. And
Right.
now all of a sudden someone says it's trash. And then you have to explain, actually, I've got hours and hours in battlegrounds on this build and fighting outnumbered in open world.
I've seen your scorecards from Battlegrounds. I can attest. You know
Yeah,
what's up.
I test everything, you know, I want to know. And if it's a crap build, I don't want to release it because if I
Yeah, of
can't,
course.
you know, if I can't get it to work, it's not like I'm awesome, but if I can't get it to work, then how am I going to
No,
sell
you
that
put
to
in the
someone else?
time though, man.
Right.
You know, you're an expert because you put in the sacrifice of spending time away from your family or you know, doing whatever it is on the game and the hours of research and finding and testing and getting everything together and farming the materials to you know, gold out the gear if that's what you're doing or just whatever. And it's a lot of work, you know, people don't realize. And
Yeah.
then also the editing and the YouTube. But you know, what I've taken to now because I have a situation where, you know, if somebody comments something really bad, I get that feeling like,
Yeah.
oh, and then I get mad. And then if I always wait now though, you know, and a couple hours before I reply, because if I don't, I'm going to go off the deep end and regret it.
Yeah.
But then if I reply back and then I'm waiting for them to reply and then it starts to occupy my day. So if what they say is ridiculous and something that I don't think needs to be there, I just hide them from the channel. I
Yeah.
just put hide user from channel. And then they can say all they want, just nobody sees it. But
Yeah.
a lot of the people that are when they comment really stupid stuff, just that's you can't believe how stupid it is, I correct their grammar. And then
Yeah.
they they get so mad. And if they ever say like F you, I just go, ooh, I take a page from Conor McGregor when Kobe Covington was like, oh, you know, first the very famous, you know, who the F is that guy? And
Yeah.
everybody laughed. And then he goes, oh, you little leprechaun, and Connor goes, oh, good one. Did you think of that yourself? And
Yeah.
that was so brilliant, you know, because it just shows everybody. And that's what I'll write. I'll say, ooh, good one. Did you think of that yourself? You're going to be able to get on the college debate team now. Because, you know, literally, if anybody ever resorts to FU, they lost. They lost the argument because they don't have anything to say,
Yeah.
you know, not anything reasonable. So I hear where you're coming from, man. You don't want to look like, you know, people, you want to defend people from the bullies and stuff like that. But for me, I don't know. A lot of times it's just better to hide them from the channel and not worry about it
Yeah.
because
I've
it
had to
will.
research that too.
I'm glad there's not a limit of people that we can hide from the channel because I'd already be there.
Yeah. Well, oh well. Hey, you keep doing that though, like you were saying, and keep putting people on the ignore list, and eventually you start cleaning up your surroundings and you really start to enjoy the world around you. So
Well, I don't get that many toxic comments anymore. I have a lot of I'm really lucky. I probably have 500 or 600 really, you know, loyal. I don't like to say loyal. That sounds, I don't know. It sounds stupid. I mean, people, I have regulars, you could say, and they comment all the time. And people, I have this one guy that has fist bumped me with a fist bump emoji, like going way back to when I was, you know, maybe had 500 subscribers or something. And he watches every single video every day. And I fist bump him back, you know, with an
heck yeah.
emoji.
Yep.
Yeah,
That,
it's
that's
awesome.
what it's about. That's what it's
And
about, right?
I do so appreciate those people that watch the video and comment, even if they comment, oh, this wasn't really anything I'm going to do, but I appreciate, you doing the channel and stuff. And it's amazing. It's such a positive experience.
How much of the channel is because you get fulfillment educating or teaching other people, and how much of it is that you just really enjoy the artistic expression and it's an outlet for you?
Well, I'll tell you, that story is really funny. When I was first trying to find my voice, my 15-year-old son was my YouTube expert, and he was telling me, oh, maybe if you make a longer video, it'll be about, your personality and people will like you. And it was about, you can even look this video up. It's hilarious. It's so ratioed. And it's like, it's called Starting Cadwell Silver. And I get on my stamps work and I'm sitting there just talking and talking about all this stuff and my kid. And once you get me going, it's game over. And so the video is like 26 minutes. And then about maybe 10 minutes into it, I finally get to the subject. And this one guy said, he wrote, this guy's voice needs to be turned up 2 times the speed. And I was mad. And so I was childish. I shouldn't have written this. I wrote, oh, I so care what you say, or I so care what you think, and then I said no one ever. That's like it's like a kindergartner, comment. And then he had, obviously, his buddies come back and they're like, oh, what's the matter? Don't you want to make content that people like? Imagine somebody that can't even accept criticism.
Yeah.
And the video, the last time I looked, I don't dare go there now, has like 135 dislikes and like 30 likes. And, it's just totally ratioed. But that guy saying that, he said, don't you want to make videos that other people like, was such an epiphany. It was like a bell ringing in my head, literally. I was looking at the comment and I just thought, no, I don't. I want to
Right.
make videos that I like. And if people like it, then that's great. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for me.
That right
But
there.
it's the content creator's conundrum, the 3 C's. Because I just made that up, by the way, on the fly. Just
Hey,
saying.
I'm gonna
And
use that.
because when we're content creators, of course we get on YouTube. Of course, there's nobody that's ever started a YouTube channel that wasn't thinking, man, how could I just start making that jack? How can I get the money? How can I get subscribers? Just, I want to make this content, get it to go viral. And then I'm going to be, bringing in the money. I can quit my job. I'll just be sitting at home playing video games or talking. I'll be rich. I think we've all had that little dream, or thought our channel was going to take off. And then the hard work, reality sets in. But the thing of it is, if you don't have passion for what you're doing, you'll quit within a year, because it's not about service to other people, it's service to yourself. Like a long time ago, I read a book called Looking Out for Number One, and it really set me straight about how we need to love ourselves the most, and that we need to take care of ourselves before we take care of anyone else. Because if we don't, there's no way we'll be able to take care of anybody else. And I have to keep myself healthy. I have to eat like I'm keto. And my wife is always very supportive and helpful about getting me meat and stuff that I need for my diet, and not offering me sweet rolls and all this other delicious stuff, and she sees me coming and she's, hide it, daddy's coming, and it's very cute, but I'm solid. But with, me taking care and exercising every day and getting, I need 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep every single night. And they understand that, because got to get those, that clearage of those amyloid uh, brain waste products. I don't want to get Alzheimer's, but all that stuff is just something that's important to me. And, I need to take care of myself first. And that was the book that did it. But with the content, and being able to get through the grind, you have to have that passion, or else it's going to fail. You're just going to give up one day.
Yeah. It is like about a year too. I see that in the gym industry as well. It's about a year in for some people, and it's right around there where the discovery and inspiration phase ends, and they're not
Right.
inspired you know, and they're learning stuff, and then they start moving into the second phase. But Icy's very disciplined with his workouts, and Icy has a daily workout regimen, and we could be on a call or whatever, talking or playing. He's like, "Hey, I got to get my workout in," and he's gone.
That's awesome, man. I think exercise for me, working out, it's like it's got its own little shrine in my mind. It was one of the reasons that I was able to quit drinking and doing drugs, and that's two separate, things. Like I was the mind of the addict is always protecting the source, and there's so many excuses that you make why. It also happens with working out. You make all these excuses. Well, I don't want to overtrain. Oh, maybe I should take off today. I'm kind of tired. And you hear that little monkey in your head. He's just chattering. In Buddhism, they talk about the chattering monkey in your head. And that little chattering monkey for me used to be driving the car, and I was in the back seat, and now he's stuffed in the glove box. you know and I still hear it, but you don't want to make those excuses. But with working out, I work out like Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday, weekends off, and then Wednesdays. And I'm mobility recovery training, and like my fourth floor, I've been buying workout equipment for 24 years, and I have full set of dumbbells, 400 pounds of free weights, squat rack, jujitsu mats. That's in my house, so that just takes any excuses. Traffic, I don't want to drive to the gym. And for me, being in the gym and being around other people and talking is just, you look at your timer and you're like, oh, it's been 5 minutes. I'm not doing powerlifting. What am I doing? I try to rest 1.5 minutes, between sets, and I time it now, so I really know what's going on. But I mean, working out is, all my kids were on the Olympic weightlifting team in junior high, and I forced them to do it, and they're also happy now because it's a way to mood alter. When you're not feeling well or you're down, you can always go do something in the gym. I mean, even if it's do some floor routine or something, or stretching or yoga if it's not your day off. But yeah, you talking about the people that quit after a year. The Scott Sonnen has a book called Maximology, and it talks about nerve excitement and how when we first start to do something, we're really enthusiastic and excited about it because we're developing new neural pathways. And after a certain amount of time, that's when that boredom sets in. You're just like, this is not fun anymore. I'm not excited. I'm not enthusiastic about it. And that's where I love the quote. We can't always be motivated, but we can always be disciplined. And
Yeah.
discipline, that's another thing that has levels, right? I mean, that's like, I think I'm a pretty disciplined person, but being on keto and not eating sugar and candy and stuff, and low carbs, and keeping my workout schedule and doing the YouTube channel. But then I just look at the guy that punched the time clock every hour on the hour for a year, and I just think I'm a fraud.
I will say that I think when it comes to discipline, it's super easy when you're extremely passionate
Absolutely.
about something in particular. Because I know, I guess since we're talking about food stuff, I do the whole food plant-based type thing, and I've been doing that for about 5 years now. And for me, I take that like
That's
extremely
super discipline.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
take that
is.
extremely
Yeah.
serious, and there's not one moment I let up on that. And for me, I know for other people,
So
whenever
you're a
they,
vegan? I don't mean to cut you off. So you're vegan, or you're just you consider yourself a vegetarian, or
yeah, vegan technically, yeah, but I'm more of like a plant-based eater. Yeah, I
do
try to
you
keep
eat
it as whole
eggs at
food
all?
as
Are you
possible.
lacto ovarian, or no?
No, no, no,
N-
no, straight
No
straight
fish,
vegan.
nothing.
Nope, nope.
That's cool, man. And you can gain muscle from that, or I don't know if that's your goal.
Yeah, you can. It is possible, but uh, we can talk about it
Yeah, we'll talk
after the
about it
show.
later
Yeah.
because everybody's
But
going, "Shut up."
yeah, yeah. But I know, like whenever I have spoken to people about it, it's just like, oh, like, they're either making excuses or just saying how difficult it is. But again, for me, like I'm super passionate about it, and I care about like my own personal health and everything. So for
Right.
me, it's a no-brainer. I don't even have to think twice about, picking the foods that I eat or doing anything like that. And even, just, because, this is the Three Skeevers podcast and it is a gaming thing, even just logging into ESO every single day, and I do my writs on all my characters every single day. Since I've started doing my writs, I think back in like November of 2019, I haven't missed a day yet doing my
Right.
writs, and it's paid its way completely with anything I've needed in the game itself.
Absolutely. And
Just be,
surveys.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
And all the
for those types of
rewards.
things, yeah, and I know for Grim, he hates doing writs, and like he'll start it. It's kind of funny because we're talking about the discipline thing and how like you start it, you'll do it for a couple days, but then you fall off. I
Right.
know Grim falls into that thing for doing writs, but with what he needs to do in terms of like putting bills together because it costs money. Say if he was super disciplined about doing his writs every day, those builds would pay for themselves because the consistency of doing your writs and how much gold you get from doing those things and all the materials that you can earn from it will support him. The amount of self-sufficiency will just go ways and ways beyond.
Yeah, well,
And
doing them on 10 characters a day is about 40,000 gold a day.
oh yeah,
I
I
don't,
think
I
it's
don't, I mean,
uh,
just from finishing the quest. I mean, I don't even, I've done my writs every day on my character, my main, that Argonian dude, for probably 3 years and never missed a day. And I mean, I'm a total proponent of that. I got really burned out about doing the writs. I was doing them on 9 characters. And I did it for the one time we had a month of the Jubilee Festival. It was the 5th year,
Your
5th
inventory got
anniversary.
filled with gold motifs, didn't it?
Well, the thing is that the last week they went ahead and gave ESO Plus free trial. See, I used to not have ESO Plus on principle because I didn't like being extorted for bank space. And I mean for craftback. And I'm like that. I just get these ideas and I'm just like, nope, cut off my leg. I don't care. I'm not doing it. And my wife says that actually people can control me very easily because of the way I am about that. And I tell her, quit confusing me with your facts. And I just you know, I do my writs on my character, and even just that, I know when you do them on 9, it's amazing. But one thing about doing writs, like I set up my Sigic order house with my tables and just the normal tables, and then I just go there. I get the writs and I go there, and there's no one else. And it's like a little meditation, it's like a little way to kind of unwind. What about training horses though? Do you log into every character every day in the morning before you play and train your horse? Come
absolutely.
on now.
I have.
There you go.
I'm not trying to flex, but I have, my 9
You
characters. I've
flex,
got.
bro. You flex.
I've got 9 characters, all fully trained out on their horses. Obviously, I do my writs on them every day, and I think there was a point somewhere last year in the summer. I was like, I love this game so much. Why don't I just have 9 master crafters? So I've got 9 master crafters now, all fully researched out and everything. So
But you have 9 grand master crafters or 9 master crafters?
just 9 master crafters. So like they
Okay, I was
have,
gonna say because
yeah, no, I
one
wouldn't
was
go.
enough. One
Yeah,
was
no, I
enough to
wouldn't go
give
that
me a
far.
bald patch. It's like
Oh
the,
Jesus.
the 50 motifs, man. That was
Yeah.
an obsession for me. I probably spent 4 million gold, and I farmed most of them. But now I know 80 styles, so I love motifs. That's probably my thing in the game. I just love it. I think it's incredible. I mean, there's so many aspects of this game that are just so amazing, and we could just focus on the positive. And we don't need to, like, when people just sit there and complain about the merchant having a visual bug. I know you guys got medic. You put medic add-on and it just fixes the problem. But for us on console, we're having a visual bug where
Is the
you
jaw
sell.
broken?
I'm sorry.
Is the jaw broken on the NPC or what is it?
No. What it does is you go into the merchant and you sell it, the item, and you hear the gold coming into your coming into your inventory, the of the money, and then you see your inventory go down, but the item is still there unless you hit buy back and then hit back. But what I do is I just go down and do it, and then I buy back just to make sure that everything's gone. And there's also the same problem with the guild trader and the craft bag. It doesn't go down. It actually is moving down the cursor. Like if you go into your craft bag and you pull the trigger, it doesn't move. But if you go back to inventory and then you go back to craft bag, you're down one category. So I just figured out how to go 1, 2, 3, and then go back and then look where I am. And then when I see, oh, tempers is 4 down, and then I just move the stick down 4, and then I go back and then go back into craft bag and it's there. But people are just like, this is stupid. I can't believe it. And it's like, this is just nothing, you know? I'm like, I'm trying to tell people, I have 4 kids and one of them is bipolar, okay? So this is nothing to me, you know? And I think, I don't know, I guess it's just mostly kids that get so mad about the game and, you know, they spew venom and they seem to think that you and I, all 3 of us are, since we're content creators and we're bringing them the message of what's broken, that it's somehow our fault because we're in league with Zoss and we're being paid, you
Right.
know, to distribute information and stuff. I'm like, I wish I was getting paid by Zoss because I would take that money in a second. But they don't even know who I am, okay? I'm nobody.
How excited are you for Blackwood with companions and the proposed proc changes?
I'm always excited for new content in the game. I play every aspect of the game. I do, you know, dungeons and trials, and I'm not good, but I do it. And I love PvP. Like I said, for PvP right now, I'm just Law of Julianos and Spinners, and I don't even wear a monster set. I just wear the Zan. I'll wear a spinner. Well, I'll wear Ring of the Wild Hunt and Spinner's Shoulder, and then I'll wear Valkylion's Gloria for penetration, and then I just change some skills. So I wanted a build that was going to be able to do everything. You know, I can just go into BGs or Imperial City, or I could go into Cyrodiil, or I could go do dungeon content. And Blackwood, with all the new things coming, I'm very excited. I like to quest. I do tend to press the A button and just scroll through the dialogue really fast because I usually have some goal. But when you talk about companions, I always like to look at the negatives and the positives. You know, I don't like to go, this is going to be great. It's awesome. You know, I like to try to play devil's advocate with myself and see some of the negatives. So first of all, I think it's going to be something fun to do on a personal level. As a content creator, we both know it's awesome because we're going to have days and days of videos we'll be able to make, and it'll give us content, fresh content, things people want to talk about, which is awesome. But that being aside, if I look at it from a player, I'm probably the social aspect of the game is what made me not quit. You know, if I was always just playing solo and I wasn't, you know, able to just type into chat, hey, you guys want to go do dailies? You want to go do sky shards? You want to go do, you know, you want to go get farm plans in public dungeons? And then everybody groups up and we stay in guild chat and just talk to everybody that comes by. If it wasn't for that, I don't know if I would have got burned out and quit. So I love the social aspect. And I know that in my guild, especially, we have a lot of really socially awkward people. They never talk. They never, they never talk on voice chat, and they don't type in the in the guild chat, and they don't type in the group chat. They'll join the group. They X up. They join. We go do something. I love to do dailies. I love to farm motifs. You know, we've been getting the Wayward Guardians. I just completed the full book yesterday, and from getting them from the Wayward Guardian Markarth, and there's a couple of people, they'll just join the group and we all ride around together. They never say anything, and then when they're done, they just leave. So I don't think it's rudeness. I think it's a kind of awkwardness. They're afraid. You know, I've heard from people they're afraid of letting others down. You know, I think that's a big thing. Is it's not so much that they think they're going to feel shame. They're just they they think of the other people as being better than them, and they're afraid that they're going to let those people down and that those people are going to be disappointed. So with companions, the thing I'm worried about is that it's not going to bring those people out to become more social. It's actually going to make them, it's going to push them more in to
Yeah.
become super introverted. And also the lag factor, man. If you think pets are bad at crafting stations, holy moly. It's going to be twice the amount of people just like everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I'm going to do it, man. Okay, so like when Antiquities came out and the Ebon Wolf mount came out, I said, I'm getting that. And I got it in 5 days. I thought I was going to be able to get it like in 2 days, you know. And after 20 runs of Darkshade Caverns 2, I was starting to think that maybe it was going to take a little longer. So it ended up taking me 5 days and I got it. And, you know, literally the whole time was a blur. And I told myself I wasn't going to do that anymore because I'm just, you know, it's like that movie Click, you know, with Christopher Walken and Adam Sandler, where, you know, he just keeps fast forwarding his life. He's
Mhm.
not present, you know. And I think for me, that's something is really important, is to try to be present instead of always wishing for tomorrow. I can't wait until this comes. I can't wait, because then when you get it, it's like you just move on to the next thing, you know. And I just kind of want to savor stuff. So I'm going to be doing the companions and all the Blackwood content and everything. I've already bought, you know, a guild member gifted me the Blackwood chapter. It was so nice of him. And I'm ready to go. So I'll be doing it all. But as far as, I don't know, I think anything that comes into the game that's so radically different than what we've had before, I think it's going to have, you know, pros and cons. And I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. What do you guys think about it? What's your honest opinion? Not just, you know, like what do you know, you're, oh, it's going to be great. Because if you say it's not good, a lot of people get mad. I know. They it's like they get offended or something that you're not allowing them to have their Skyrim companion Lydia with them, you know.
What's your thoughts, Icy?
Love Lydia. She was pretty
She
pretty hot,
was.
but
She
anyways,
constantly died and I could never find her again, so I don't know.
yeah.
I'm only level 16 in Skyrim though. So actually the Elder Scrolls Online is my first Elder Scrolls game, and it's also my first MMO. So I get dressed down by the lore nerds all the time about the way I say Daedra.
Nice.
Go ahead,
I
Icy. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, I did it did kind of throw me back when you're talking about how the the companions are, might make people more introverted, because I remember when I think when I first met Grim in the beginning, and I think I was using my Maw of the Inferno, and he's like, "Oh, why are you using that set?" And I said, "Because I don't want to feel alone when I play." and and then it was just kind of like an awkward silence for like 10 seconds, and I was just like,
Right.
"Geez." But um so it just kind of threw me back to that moment. And um you might be right, because it'll be a little bit more accessible to get those pets, or like just somebody you can interact with and stuff. But um yeah, I mean, I know there's some people who already like just kind of like just invest in solo play, whether it's just they're soloing vet dungeons, or I just learned about a guy who he's got 4 computers, all with ESO on it, and technically solos, dungeons with with his 4 computers, doing hard mode and stuff like that. So it's
Good
pretty
grief.
interesting. Yeah,
I would
and
love, man, I wish there was some kind of crossplay. I would love to get that guy on the on the YouTube channel.
oh
That
well,
is a
the thing is that I think that's part of the thing though. He doesn't like playing with people, so he just plays with 4 copies of himself. Yeah, so I don't
wow.
think
But
it ever actually happened.
is that against terms of service to have multiple accounts?
I don't think
I
so,
always
because he's
wonder.
playing by himself, so I don't think he's harming anybody. So I
Right.
think
And
to
he
me it would be
bought
okay.
all 4 copies for each computer, and he probably has 4 lines into his house. He'd have to. because
Yeah.
you can't use an Ethernet splitter. That doesn't. You'll get conflicts after a while. People don't
Yeah,
realize
I
that.
think it's individually based on each computer, so I don't think there wouldn't be any conflict or anything like that. But I don't know the details. But going back to Blackwood, um, again, so since I've met Grim, I've been doing mostly PvP for the last year and a half, and
Right.
all the DLCs that have dropped since then, I haven't really done anything with it. I haven't, I get them through ESO Plus and everything, sure, and I have access to the dungeons, which are fine. But in terms of actually questing through them and everything,
Right.
I love the lore, and I'm just getting back into doing my questing and again, but it's not the breaker, it's not the be all end all for me because I love doing the PvP and just paying my $15 a month for ESO Plus and just doing PvP content is plenty sufficient to keep me sustained to playing the game. Yeah, and since I'm just getting back into the questing, I'm loving listening to the NPCs tell their stories, helping them figuring out that the local alchemist, he's trying to help save the town. Come to find out that his son was turned into a vampire and is like turning everybody into thralls, and his father, he's trying to help his son. But what he's actually doing is making the villagers sick and then sending them off into the cave to help to feed his son. And you
Sounds like a
uncover
typical ESO
yeah,
quest.
you're
Exactly.
uncovering this mystery that's going
Yeah.
on, and then
Spoiler.
find out that you got to send the guy to jail and everything, and you kill his son and all that type of stuff. But that
I
type of
killed his
stuff,
son too.
yeah, I like
I
that.
chose to kill his son.
I like the lore and the questing stories and stuff. So, um, yeah, I'm excited for Blackwood. I don't have anything negative to say about it. I think it's going to be pretty fun.
Well, I don't mean to try to be negative. I mean, I just want to be realistic. And what I'm always looking at is what's good for the game. And one thing that is very important is that we get new players coming in all the time. We have a fresh player base, and there's, when you just have a bunch of vet players and then there's no new people coming in, the game will stagnate. And that's why I try to help everybody. And I'm not trying to throw shade on the companions. I'm just wondering, maybe it's from a selfish point of view of people, that I look at it as, oh, those people, they're in the guild and they never participate in the guild events, or they never say anything, I guess maybe it's me being kind of pretentious, thinking that because I like to play with other people and I love the social aspect, that everybody should do that. So maybe I'm just being ignorant. Uh, I don't know if people like to play, if they love to play solo, and that's just the way they do it. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. However anybody wants to play the game is great. And you talk about PvP. That's how I came up. I spent level 4. I was level 14. I went into Cyrodiil, and I couldn't find out how to get out. And I thought you had to stay in there till the campaign was over. I didn't know there was a way shrine at the north gate where you could travel out. There used to not be a way shrine out at the south gate. And then I met my friend Joker, and I stayed in there till level 45. I didn't even do a dungeon until I was level 46. So I know PvP, it's a totally different lifestyle. It's almost like a different game. It's like we have Overland Cyrodiil, and then we have Imperial City, are two separate games, and then we have dungeons, and I don't know, just like 5 games in one. It's amazing.
And
But
and
what
even
else?
dueling too. Dueling is
Oh
its
yeah,
own
dueling.
separate
There's
thing.
entire communities that just duel. No poisons allowed. Don't forget that. But what are you
Yeah.
guys excited about for Blackwood? Proc
I think,
sets
yeah, I'd like to see, is there no one else in Unified Gaming or doing great content on the proc set disparity or the
and Christopher.
and Christopher ESO? Yeah, they're doing a great job showing. We kind of Houston, we kind of have a problem with this proposed scaling
Yeah.
situation with stamina versus magicka and the proc sets. Like Vicious Death is, you can achieve a higher tooltip on Vicious Death on a stamina build than you can on a magicka build, and the tooltips are higher.
No.
They're higher than where they're at currently. So, and My
Well,
idea, if you hadn't heard about that, is just attaching the proc sets, leave them just how they are right now, and just attach them to the Battle Spirit passive in PvP. And you could just add a line. It'll require you to go through and stamp each one of these proc sets, the armor set, to denote, that they're attached to Battle Spirit. And then if you hover over Battle Spirit, it just says, all armor sets that have this marking on them are damage and healing is reduced by 20% or 50%,
right,
whatever that
right,
is. And in that moment, I think you solve so many problems. They don't have to do all of the mathematical equations that they're doing right now and all the extra behind the scenes math and the problem with balancing and open up a huge can of worms. Keep them just how they are right now and just attach them to Battle Spirit and then adjust the knob for how much we need to throttle them through that. And your PvE community will be happy because the darn PvPers aren't screwing up their gear sets or constantly getting their stuff changed or nerfed. And the PvP community will be happy because, for the most part, because proc sets have been recognized as a problem in PvP. So I think that's the best answer, and a lot of the big content creators agree with that. So,
well, Grim, I just stop being rational, okay? You can't be a rational thinking person and come up with solutions. I mean, we need problems. We need random accusations, and we need people screaming, and we need people just having meltdowns and threatening to quit the game. If we don't
right.
have that, what's the point, I
Yeah.
think there was a guy in the forum. I scour the forums just for all kinds of stuff. And there's some really beautiful people in there, man, that they can write just these perfect posts. They're just
Very
to the point
articulate.
and concise, and they do bullet points, and you're like, dude, what's your job? And this one guy was saying that he's a IT developer, and that actually every single company that produces content, whether it's games or software, the developers don't want to solve the problems because they'll be out of a job. And that, you know, whatever happens is just going to be a patch, and then they're going to develop another problem. Not saying that it's exactly on purpose, but they're not that motivated to really fully fix every problem. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just relaying what he had said. It certainly made a lot of sense. And I'm of the theory that there's two Zosses. There's the kid Zoss, and there's the mommy and the daddy Zoss. Mommy and daddy Zoss are reasonable, and then they make some stuff and they put out some sets, and then they go out of town and they say, "You guys, while we're gone, don't jump on the bed. Don't be crazy. All this is good." And then they leave. "We won't." And what do you do when your parents go out of town? You jump on the bed. And these kids are just making stuff that's crazy, proc sets that are just based on health, Gaze of Sithis mythic that also works off health. And then the mom and dad come back and they're like, "What did you do?" And then the nerf hammer comes down. I don't know. I think it's hilarious when you see Outcast, and I do think he's gone through some anger management therapy recently, because he used to be like, reading the sets, and he like, "Come on, Zoss, you're the ones that made these sets, man. It's ridiculous." And now he just starts to do that, and he starts getting worked up, and he goes, "Okay, you know what? It is what it is."
Yeah.
So,
I like that accent you were doing.
That was
oh, I can
actually
do
really
if I
good.
can if I can swear, I can do the whole thing, but I can start it off. I can say, "Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about the juicy bonuses that we get from the potions. People don't
Holy cow!
realize, man. People don't realize these
That
foods are OP."
that is really good.
I
That is
love that
really
guy,
good.
man.
Yeah,
He's the awesome. He's a
that is really
savage,
good.
man. He's getting his PhD right now. He's like defending his thesis, and he's still doing all the web page stuff. So definitely just an overachiever.
Yeah. I know that I know that this game does a good job. I don't know that I agree 100% with that guy, and maybe I didn't read the post, but here's what I do know. They understand a sustainable business model, and the sustainable
Right.
business model is funneling new clients, new paying customers to your product, whatever it is. And they have a game plan for the next however many years of the next new shiny thing that's coming out. I don't think that there's going to be any shortage of funneling new traffic to the game. And so the developers, if that were the case and they were worried about fixing the stuff, they don't need to fear, because in the moment they'll be remedying the churn or the burn from the game, which is the people that are quitting or falling off or stopping playing the game because of the multitude of complaints that they have, performance or whatever it is. So the devs should rest assured that, look, we're fine. Our job security is we control our job security because we've got plenty of people funneling into the game. We just need to plug the holes in the bottom of the bucket.
Well,
and
they
we'll
did
be
fire a
great.
bunch of devs, though. There was a bunch of devs that got cut, and
Really?
even some of then the lore masters had left. That was in the
Okay.
forum too. They talked about like 6 developers. Of course, Zoss didn't say they're fired. It was just, oh, they're parting ways with us now. But
Okay.
with Microsoft Steel being completed, I don't think they would be short of any kind of help that they needed. It seems Microsoft clearly knows that ESO is a cash cow. But I
Yeah.
agree with you about the upper complainer people. They're already at their wits end, those people. And they're not spending money in the Crown Store. They're already sick of it. They think Zoss is just money grubbers. They don't want to be any part of it. So when they quit, there's a bunch of new people coming in that are like, ooh, look at those proc sets. Ooh, look at that thing. When I get that speaks to what we were talking about earlier, is that sets don't really carry. A good player, an elite player, could just take, a basic set on a stamina character, Spriggans and Hunding's Rage. Kev DeWitt played that for how long? Spriggans and Hunding's Rage on a Nightblade, and he's got videos of him just like smoking people, And
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe the proc sets now you get somebody with Harbinger and the other set that's green, and then it damages you when everybody's complaining about it. Whenever you get damaged, it damages them back.
It's not venomous smite. It's
No.
the skeever. It shoots poison out of
No, there's this
Plague
one in
Slinger.
tanks.
Plague Slinger.
Not Plague Slinger. It's
Crimson.
Crimson. That's it. Crimson.
Yeah.
I had a moment. I had a senior moment there, fellas. And it's Crimson Harbinger and then Earthgore Helmet.
Yeah.
You've got a tank that can, not die. And the next patch, the way it's looking, that same tank is going to be a murderer.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing massive damage. So I don't know. I'm not quitting the game. I can always find something to do, and I love it. I love the game. And when people start complaining, it's really funny that when people start complaining and they get mad at Zoss, I kind of feel mad a little bit, like hurt. Like, man, look at all this stuff they designed. And then can you imagine being Zoss and like just thinking, look at this bone colossus. I even made it where you can see the rib cage on his leg. And then these people are just going, we hate you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just try to be a little empathetic, it's
Yeah. I find myself falling into that from time to time, especially when it's a competitive PvP situation and you're already at a disadvantage fighting multiple people with proc sets and
right.
then performance and abilities not work and potions not work and then you get killed and then you get teabagged on top of it and it's like
It's that
like
man on man action, bro. You got to send out those mails.
yeah, exactly.
They'll never
But
do it again.
yeah, it just makes you so mad, and it would be a scenario that you would have been just fine in.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think the companions thing, you might have touch base on something that was pretty interesting. I wonder if they're going to be eventually introducing relationships with the companions, or if you're
ERP.
yeah Yeah,
I got my torture dungeon all set up.
Uh-oh.
Anybody's welcome to use it. Just
Uh-oh.
message me and let me know when you're going to be there because you cannot unsee that. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm wondering, I have to think that that's going to be a thing that gets
I do
introduced
too.
at some
I
point.
I think they did make a specific point in like a couple like forum posts or what their release notes or whatever they do in terms of the companions that they said you cannot get into like any sort of relationship with your companion. I think they were very clear on that statement there.
Yeah.
Yet.
And
Did
I
they
keep
say that? Was there a
no,
yet
It'll
at the
be
end?
there will be.
token. It'll be the token of amorous resolve. And
Yep.
you'll get that token and you'll give it to her, or it'll be a spell potion.
Oh,
And it'll
It'll be
like
Lord.
like a Ring of
hypnotize her.
Mara.
And she'll be like,
yeah.
you're looking pretty good over there. It'll start to be the lusty Argonian dialogue,
Icy could get behind that.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
With the
I
little
do keep volume
the-
1 and 2 by my nightstand. So
well,
Yep.
the oven's not hot enough. It might take hours. We have time, my little one.
Yeah. So I think that there might be something there. I don't know how far they go with that, and it may just come down to the same way that the Ring of Mara works, where you get a 10% EXP bonus when you're uh, paired up with a player. Well, it
Right.
might be something where you get an EXP bonus when you're paired up with your companion. And so
I am married to my friend Joker, by the way. Hi, honey. Shout out to you.
you might as well if you guys are playing together all the time. So
Yeah, but the ring messes up your sets. When he bought it, it was
it
like
does.
an actual ring. So
Yeah.
we were both like, that's not happening, bro.
Yeah.
Love you, but sorry.
I don't know why they didn't move it to the costume tab to where
Yeah,
you
just
just
make an armband or an earring or something. That would have been
yeah
cool.
you just
Yeah.
slot it in the costume and
yeah, like those disguises that you can wear.
Yep, the
Yeah, that would have
disguise
something
been
like that.
slot.
great.
That
Yeah,
right
just
there.
something like that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Get on that, Sauce.
Yeah, make that happen. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm not about, judging anybody's lifestyle. If they're into erotic role play or if they're into role play or if they're into having a relationship with the companion, that's cool. There's definitely worse things that you could be doing, in life. And it's not for me. I'm not that wouldn't be something that I would do. I'm definitely like with companions. The way I'm looking at it is doing the quest. I do love achievements. I am like an achievement hunter. I mean, I'm a mag sork, and I went ahead. I had vampirism, so I went ahead and got a werewolf bite and leveled my werewolf all the way up and got master of lycanthropy. And people ask me, "Are you a werewolf?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just did it on a goof." So it was for content, and the achievement. But with the companions, I'm gonna do the whole skill line all the way up and get both of the companions, and then I'm gonna try to get 6 other people in my guild who are willing to try to do one of the trials to find out if
How
that would
viable
be
it is.
if just as a goof, to push it to the boundaries and see if we can get through, the content. I know they can't do mechanics, so Ethereal Archive is out. Maybe I think Hell Raw would be out. Probably all the trials. There's no way because there's even Sanctum Ophidia, the bolts. If you get bolted to the floor, they wouldn't be able to release you. And
Well, that
I
would be
wonder.
kind of cool if they could hit synergies for you to like get you out of stuff. That would be kind of
That
cool.
would be awesome.
Or
Definitely.
or if they were designed in for certain dungeons like Dire Forest Keep, where if you have to step on the pressure plate, and in that moment you can just be like, hey, you interact with them and you say, you should go step on that pressure plate, and they're like, oh yeah,
Like
sure.
Outer Worlds companions, where if you have you played that game before?
Where you can assign where
Brilliant
they go.
game. Yeah, you just put the arrow on the floor. Oh, sorry guys, a big ambulance.
No worries.
You just put that arrow right there, and then the companion will go stand on it, and that's in game. Oh, you guys are on PC. Never mind. I was gonna say Game Pass. And Outer Worlds is in Game Pass. But yeah, that would be excellent. But they said specifically that they cannot do mechanics. They cannot stand on pressure plates. They cannot activate synergies. Nothing like that. They can't weave because everything is on a global cooldown. Not global, but it's not exactly tab based. But they do a skill, and then it's going to have a cooldown. And then they'll do another skill. So I don't know. I'll be trying to push it to the limits though, for sure. Because if you could, for trials, for me, trying to run a trial, getting everybody to group up just takes so long. And if you could have, okay, we're missing, a tank and a DPS, and then somebody goes, I'll just get out my companion, and then they pull it out and then go. That would be great to fill spots, and even people pugging in Craglorn. A lot of times you get in a pug group, it's late, and maybe you got a great group, nice people, but there's only 7 of them, and everybody's chill, and you're thinking it's going to be a good experience, and nobody wants to join. So I really that part of it, I wish that it could work, but I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna see with my companion what I can solo. I can solo a lot of different vet dungeons and stuff, but we're gonna find out what we can solo or duo with my companion. In World of Warcraft, they have this thing where you can do like / or /roll. You type out roll, and it'll just generate a random number between 1 and 100 or whatever, 1 and 99. And people use that for like gambling games in zone chat and things like that. I'm thinking of a number / roll, or people use it for rolls on loot, things like that. And I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool, instead of / roll and kind of wagering or gambling like that. What if Icy got his companion out, I got my companion out, and we had our companions duel? And then
Oh, that would be great.
you're like wagering on whose companion's going to win. And
That opens up a very interesting possibility. Now, people are scared to duel.
right,
There's a whole subset of the game. Well, actually, probably PvP is, my estimation, is about 12% of the population. And then the most percent is like 75% of the people only play the game like it's Skyrim. They just quest, and they just do the content like that, and they get the stuff. Maybe they do dungeons sometimes, but they don't do trials. They don't do PvP, and they hate it for
yeah,
valid and varied reasons. They don't want to go into PvP. I know a lot of people, they get that fear. Like it used to happen to me. It's not fear, but it's adrenaline dump.
mhm,
Somebody challenges me to a duel, and just the adrenaline just boom, and my hands get shaky and everything. It's like a trigger panic, I guess you could say, or something like that. And it's not like that anymore. My friend Joker got me out of it. He's like, just duel everybody, bro. Doesn't matter if you die. And but if we had the companions being able to duel, like you said, then people that were afraid could just put their companion out. But
yeah,
then by proxy, it'd be like they'd be doing it, but it wouldn't be so personal to them.
yep, yep,
That's an
yeah,
amazing idea. That would be so good.
yeah. I think that would be kind of a cool thing. I hope that they introduce something along those lines where you could just kind of gear and outfit your companions and let them duel. What if you could add a class, a race, or a weapon skill, what would you be wishing for to see in ESO?
Flying monkeys.
Heck
It
yeah,
could
man.
happen.
It
It
could
could
happen.
happen. And your little dog too. No, I think I would, for me, just overall, I mean, even maybe beyond races and classes, if they could start to add more lore centric things, like get a Shivering Isle DLC, and maybe I don't know, like an alchemist class or something that's spell casting based, like that. I know for PvP, people hate that stuff. They don't want anything to do with it. You got your stamina classes are going to be just wrecking people, dizzying swing and really simple rotations. They're just crit charge, dizzying swing, and then they do a light shot to stun you, and then Dawnbreaker, and maybe a battle mage. I know my friend Joker was telling me about these guys that are mag sorts, and they're using Dawnbreaker,
Mhm.
and they're even using two dual wield swords on the back bar. Now, I know that used to be a thing because of the enchants. Used to be 2 enchants for dual wield on the back, so people were using like spinners and Law of Julian. This is really kind of before proc sets, what we know as proc sets. Not Clever Alchemist is a proc set. I mean, like Crimson and all that kind of stuff. And they were using dual swords, and because you enchant spell damage or weapon damage on those two swords, or spell damage on those two swords, and it gives you double the spell damage. This is even before bows and staves were counted for 2 slots. This was like the only way you could wear 2 full sets in a monster set was sword and board and dual wield, and people were doing that. I don't know if you guys remember those days,
Yeah,
but
and Overload even had its own action bar. So
right.
you trigger
Oh
Overload and you had
yeah.
access to 5 new
That
other
was
abilities.
and you turn it on, and then you just like got all those I could, man, when I first did that, I could not figure out what was going on. I was like, why did my skills change? And then finally it was like, oh, this is cool. That was some overpowered stuff back then, man. That was definitely overperforming. But maybe I don't know. I know a lot of people want a barbarian, like a puncher guy, sort of like Brick from, Borderlands 1
Mhm.
or something like that. But I would like, we have necromancers and they can do all that casting stuff. But I always find for myself that like Blast Bones takes so long for it to come up. Maybe it's latency. Same thing with Warden Shulks. I can never get the timing down on that. I know a lot of people do. But I'd like I'd like something that was really lore based if it's a race. Maybe the Chimer or the silver people that all died off from that plague or something like that. Um, it's hard to say, I do like the lore, and I'm starting to get into it, watching Fudge Muppets, listening to Fudge Muppets Elder Scrolls podcast, and listening about Boethia and Malakath and all that, the 9 Diedrich princes. I just bought a Sheogorath well, I got gifted a Sheogorath statue today, who is my favorite of all the princes. But
Yeah.
what about you guys? What do you think? What's your opinion about a race, or what would you like to see for a race or a class or something like that?
How we doing on time? I see. What do we got? 5 minutes left.
Yeah, about 5 minutes.
Okay. When we had Hack the Minotaur on, um,
Love that guy.
yeah, I said, hey, because we asked him that question. I said, how would you feel about a Minotaur playable race? And he was like, heck
Oh,
yeah.
oh yeah,
So,
that'd be
I mean,
awesome, like a brute.
yeah, they're in the game now, and then there's even casters in the Minotaur. Like when you're running around the Gold Coast. So
Right.
maybe that could be a thing. And I think summoning weapons, my skill line, I feel like magic classes need more options as far as weapon class lines go, or weapon
Right.
lines go. That might, so summoned weapons would be pretty cool. Um so we're running out of time. You have your YouTube channel. Do you stream on Twitch? What's all the ways that people can find you?
I'm easy to find on YouTube. It's just Upper Echelon Mediocrity. And I pretty much hate social media. I was hard to get the Discord. I have a Discord. It's pretty dead in there, though. I think we're the social awkward Discord. I told that to one of my friends, and he said, that's all Discords, bro. But your Discord is live, man. If people want to find out all kind of stuff, go join Grim's Discord. Don't join mine. Mine's I don't know, people putting cat pictures and stuff. Okay, that was me. That was me. I'm sorry. My cat ran away and it came back and I was happy. But to be able to find me, I do have a timeline for streaming on Twitch, and I'll start doing that, but not yet. I have to get a separate line just for that, and I have to clean up my house first because I'm not going to have the guy come over and report us to the mental health bored here.
Yeah.
Poor
Yeah,
kids.
you gotta get that room cleaned up. You were talking about your red room or whatever.
That's it. That's it. But everybody can find me on YouTube. It's just Upper Echelon Mediocrity, and I'm there. Come by, say hi. I'd love it. And
How
in
can
the
they?
game on Xbox One, my gamer tag is Chaotey, Chaotey. If anybody's listening that's on Xbox One, if you want to join a guild, we have a very active guild, 50, 60 people online at almost any time, even at 3 o'clock in the morning, US time. There's 30 people, a lot of Grandmaster Crafters, people willing to help you. All you have to do is insert yourself. No one is going to come and ask you specifically, hi, you're new. Do you need help? Sorry about that. They're busy.
Do you have a tip jar, or do you have Patreon or merchandise? How can people help you?
I do have a PayPal account linked. Patreon, I don't understand about that really. I don't really offer any extra content. So when YouTube's trying to get me to do the membership thing, I don't know. I feel kind of embarrassed. I don't. I guess I need to work that part out. When people try to gift me stuff and I'm trying to talk them out of it. And then they pretty much ganged up on me about PayPal and said about ESO Plus, and said I had to do it because I'm not letting them help me when I've helped them, so it's not fair. And so I caved, but I have a PayPal link. Sure, all donations are greatly accepted, but I do understand that times are tough, man. Money's hard to come by, and it's not necessary. You know, I the channel does make money, and to me it's like, wow, this is free money. All I have to do is pick it up. So I'm very fortunate, and I'm doing great. I really appreciate you guys having me on the podcast too. It's awesome.
No problem. Thanks for coming. Icy?
Yeah, so with that said, because I think we got about 30 seconds left, we'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.
Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it. Bye bye.
Like,
You're going to say, bye-bye, Argonians.
Bye bye, Rogonian.